What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Around the ACL. It's Michelle Thompson here with Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione. And I have to apologize in advance. I'm getting over a cold and my voice is, well, much better than it was. But it's
much
not 100%.
Better. Yes. Much better.
I was like not even above a whisper about like 3 days ago. So we're progress, people. I did miss cornhole this weekend. I just felt like really unsatisfied. I guess there wasn't much going on there. I didn't even get to play that much, but how about your guys' weekend?
Yeah, I had like no cornhole at all, really. I was in a wedding. I was up in Pittsburgh, and then made my way back on Sunday. So I knew there were some tournaments going on. I tried to keep up with some results, but I did not watch a lick of cornhole this weekend. I was just traveling all over the place, and now we're back, and then rolling back into things.
Anthony, did you catch anything?
I actually played again. My kid's knee, he's still in that brace. So I'm like, hey, I'm playing until you get healthy. So I actually made it down to, I didn't get to do the doubles, but got down to do some of the singles, the conference. So we'll talk about it a little bit later, the Mountain South conference. So yeah, I got down there and played a little and saw some new people and, talked to some people, Tafoya, I was really interested in where she's at. She was the qualifier coming out of that. Talked to her a little bit. But it was cool. Yeah, I got to actually be at an event and throw some bags. So my happy place.
Hold up. Where? Let's look at these results.
No, let's not look at the results.
Where's Anthony on this list?
Wait a second.
That's not. I could tell you. I'll just tell you.
No. Anthony finished 33rd. Anthony.
Boom.
That means one game. You won one game.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's look at our player stats right here. Let's look at them.
Okay.
Hey, whoa! Wait a second, though, Anthony. You were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in PPR.
Hey.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's
I played. It was one of those tournaments where you pull some the very first pull. Luis Marquez, I believe his name, out of New Mexico. Reminds me of like a Tyler Cobb. He plays a really, really strong block and roll game with BGs. And I'm kind of in this experiment now where I've been doing fast bags all year. Now I'm trying to transition back to carpet. As a part of the transition, I'm counteracting my opponent. So if my opponent comes up with carpet, I'm pulling out all slides. If they come up with a fast bag, I'm pulling out a Viking. So this kid was nice. He came up there. I was like, all right, I'm going to pull out the all slides. And it was a nice dirty game as I expected. 20-20. And he got the last point. So that was my first loss. Yeah. And this kid, I think he won. He won doubles in a big, I think it was a conference or a big multi-state tournament. Real solid player. He could drop into the league and be a top 70 guy. And then my second guy shows up to the boards with Vikings again. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do my all slide thing. But in warmups, I realized he was Samantha Finley in that thing. He was pounding the hole. And just in warmups, I'll experiment. So I just throw a blocker out there to see how he reacts. Couldn't handle the blocker. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go Viking on Viking with this guy. He threw a 10.2 with his Vikings, and I could not lay a block. Every block was like a bumper. And I'm like, all right, I'm out of here.
Making it easier for him. In other news, I've tweeted that my fantasy football game has deteriorated since I started working for you guys. I blame you. It can't be my fault. This is the only variable that's changed. I'm always good at fantasy, so thank you.
All I have to say about fantasy is I have two things actually. One, I'm now going to be 4-5 with the most points against in the entire league. No. And then number two, I played against Joe Mixon this week. So I don't know if you've been keeping up with fantasy. He scored 53 points. Oh my God. He had 5 touchdowns.
Oh,
one of the best fantasy performances of all time. And I had to play Bernie, and Bernie's on the show later.
Oh, no. This topic's coming back. I know it. Well, we will table it for now. But we have some really exciting things to talk about. We alluded to it last night on ACL Live, but our teams are officially out there to discuss, and let's discuss it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for this one. Anthony, I know, is pumped up too. He's gonna have a strong focus on teams this year, but Yeah, I mean, maybe let's just go through some of the details regarding teams, then we can jump into some things. So, what's similar and what's different this year. Okay, I think that's what's interesting. What's similar? You're still going to have 16 teams of 16 players like we did last season. That's how pro teams went through. We're still going to have an ACL pro teams draft where teams will get drafted onto various teams. During the regular season, every team will play every other team. So it's a 15-match season, 15-match regular season as teams play against each other across the entire year. All of that remaining identical. Every time in one match, you have one team go against another team. You'll have 7 doubles pairs from one team go against the 7 doubles pairs of another team. And whoever wins best of 7 going to take down the whole thing. So that's what's all the same. All great stuff that we love.
Yep.
Michelle, you were there at the end. Who hates teams now? The epic ending to the Teams World Championship. But
so good.
I'm excited. But here's what's different, and interested to hear kind of both of your reactions to what's different and things that are exciting, right? So first, the teams have been pre-filled with, instead of one captain, we've had one captain and 2 additional players, giving 3 players per team, right? Those 3 players per team have been picked because teams this year also, something else is that's different, will be regionally affiliated, right? We're going to have an Arizona team, a California team, an Ohio team, a Kentucky team. Okay, we're going to have all these different teams regionally affiliated across the United States, and 3 players from that region, if possible, are going to be are already placed onto that team. Now, how are those players selected? They were selected based on pro singles ranking. We tried to standardize the pro singles ranking. So, for example, the Carolina Coasters, you have Jamie Graham, Eric Davis, and Trevor Brooks. We'll dive in more in a second. But Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, 2 top 10 players. Trevor Brooks rank 98th, right?
Yeah.
But then we look at the Arizona Burn. We have Doug Zaft, Bill Hadley, Ty Lopez. Doug Zaft was 24. You had Bill Hadley and Ty Lopez in the 30 to 40 range. Add them all together, you get ultimately about the same combined ranking as these Carolina Coasters. So the idea was, let's try to standardize all these teams, not make them too skewed so that one team is loaded with all this talent coming out of the gate. Okay, I believe all the way up to number 24 in standings was given a captain or a pre-placed team slot. I believe that the first player from Pro Singles rankings last year, the highest ranked player who wasn't already on, it wasn't going to be placed on a team this year, was, I believe, Jay Rubin. I believe he's like 25 or so, or 24 last season. So, that's what we're doing. So all these 16 teams will have 3 players to start, as well as a manager this season. That manager is an ACL director that's affiliated with that region. Most of the time, it's a state director, but it could also be a conference director. It could also be, in the very few instances, be a regional director that is heavily involved in that state. So these 16 teams will compete across the regular season. We now have divisions and conferences. We will have 2 conferences on either side with 2 divisions each. We're going to have an American and a national. On one conference, you'll have a North and a South division. The other one, you'll have a West and a Central, kind of following a baseball type of layout as far as divisions go. And then the fun part, we will have a playoff this year, right? You have to be in the top 8 in order to make the playoffs this season. And the top 2 teams from each of the 4 divisions will make that playoff and play to a Teams World Championship. So it's not everybody gets into the final bracket this year. You got to earn it in order to get into that playoff bracket. So some other notes of worth, quick before we kind of dive in, get some of your reactions. But all games will be 10-round limited this year. Every team will play on a television broadcast on CBS Sports Network this season. We'll have 8 TV broadcasts of regular season games, as well as the 2 semifinals and the finals and the playoffs will also be shown on CBS Sports Network. There are allowed to be trades and dropping of free agents and acquisition of free agents this season, which I think is super exciting, right? Someone's not performing on your team. There's a waiver wire. Get them out. Get them off the team. Add somebody else. Similar to fantasy football, you're not going to be able to drop or trade your top 3 players to kind of maintain integrity. And, of course, the ACL, the commission is going to have full reign to veto any of these trades if something fishy's going on. But in the end, excited about the conferences, excited about the draft, which will be New Year's weekend alongside the National College Cornhole Championship. The adding, the dropping, the trade deadlines, everything associated with some of these bigger sports we're going to get, associated with. And the last thing is also that, PDC players this year will also be viewed identically to pros when it comes to teams. There's no separate PDC supplemental draft. If you want to take a PDC player with the first overall pick in your draft, you can do that. Same age limits as last season apply. No player under the age of 16 is going to be able to compete. But in the end, I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome time. So interested to hear, Anthony, you and Michelle's your thoughts here on teams and what else you think might be confusing or some people might be interested in learning.
Yeah, this is super cool. So, Mish and I, we're kind of getting this firsthand, so we're not behind the curtain yet. So I'm as excited as everybody else kind of listening to this. But yeah, a couple questions. You said that the top 24 ranks, did you say all of the top 24 ranks end up being a captain somewhere? Is that what you were saying?
So they all, well, I believe what we went to is how it worked out was the top 24 in pro single standings either were the captain or one of the 2 other players already placed onto a team.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So there's only 16 teams, so we couldn't be, or they're pre-drafted in some
right.
way.
So they're not available as a first round pick, basically.
Correct. Exactly. Yep.
And then what role are these directors going to play? What are they actually going to be doing on these teams?
Yeah, so I think the big part is that the most important position on the team is going to be the captain, right? But the captain is free to utilize that manager in whatever role sees fit. We didn't want to put too much responsibility on the managers, but first and foremost, the manager's responsibility is just going to be to develop excitement, energy, and fans within their specific region, right? That's what's great about why these directors were selected for that region. If someone is the Carolina Conference director, Dusty Thompson will be the manager of the Carolina Coasters, which we'll get to in a second, right? The Carolina Coasters being managed by Dusty Thompson, Dusty firsthand is going to have an opportunity to promote the team, to get people excited, to tune into the broadcast. It's just going to give people something else to root for when it comes to the pro teams and start rooting for the players on that pro team. So it's going to be really exciting. So there's going to be merchandise. There's going to be logos everywhere. There's going to be a bunch of different kits, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. But yeah, I think the major role and certainly they can help with lineups and setting and adding and dropping and all those different things. It really depends on manager to manager and team to team on how they want to divvy up their responsibilities.
That's awesome.
I had one more thing. I just had one more question. You said every team will end up on a broadcast. Does that mean every pro player will have a chance to be on a broadcast?
So yes, now keep in mind, I'll say yes with a caveat, right? One of the caveats that's deep in the rules is that pro teams have a roster cap of 16.
Okay.
So when you add in pros and PDC, we'll get through the draft, and there's some people that'll be undrafted free agents out there on the market, right? Now, after the trade deadline, the roster cap goes from 16 to 18. So when you get to a point where you can't trade anybody, we do increase the roster. So you'll see a lot of teams adding in 2 players later in the season. Now, for every player that you all have on the team at the end of the season, that's who you have to split the prize pool with. So that's something else that some of these teams will keep in mind. But to go back and answer your question, keep in mind, you only have 7 teams on 7 teams, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not one of those 14 that's selected for that broadcast, then no. But the great thing is, which is part of the reason we're really excited about this team's format, is you do, your 14 players per team times 16 teams. That's how many pros are going to be guaranteed TV coverage this year, which I think is going to personally be a game changer for a lot of these pros as far as guaranteeing and helping bettering their sponsorship opportunities, their exposure, and everything else. So I think it's overall going to just be a great, great win for the sport.
That's going to be the toughest roster of the season, the day that you're on TV for the captain to go, here's my 14 guys. And then oh man, that's going to be a rough one for those guys.
Yeah, that is, I think, the advantage of having a captain and then the other 2 that go with them, so that it's not just all on your shoulders. Like, I feel like it's going to help a little bit there. And you answered my question, Trey, which is just that unlike last season, there is going to be a pool of players that are undrafted, for you to be able to select from. So that's going to create. I mean, I like the whole trade thing. I think it's so cool. I like Teams when we first introduced it when it wasn't even this cool. So I'm all in.
Yeah. And so I think now you guys want to go through some of the teams, and I know a lot of us listen to audio and they're not going to be able to see these graphics, but I think these are going to be really cool. So let's go through these teams here, right? So let's start.
Just so everyone knows, we are showing logos. So you do want, if you can hop on the YouTube or the ACL Digital Network, you're going to want to see these.
Yeah. All right. So first up, the Texas Bully Baggers, captained by Eddie Grindersleeve, Dylan Turpin also on the team, and Ernest Monarca. So again, when we look about standardizing those pro rankings, we could have easily gone Eddie Grindersleeve, Dylan Turpin, and maybe like an AJ Sims.
Right.
That kind of would have top-heavied it. So a little bit further in the rankings, we grab Ernest Monarca, all players from the Southwest Conference, and conference director Chase Hunter is going to be the captain there. So an exciting Bully Baggers team there with the Bulldog logo. We'll go on next. We have the Cali Slingers. There you go, Michelle. So Tony Smith, top 5 player, going to be the captain here. He spends enough time out in California that he gets to be the honorary captain. He's also going to be alongside Corey Gilbert and Nick Williams. So again, this is like one of those teams where Tony Smith didn't grab another top 10 player, but was able to snag 2 top 50, top 60 players alongside him to round out that team. So it's going to be really interesting here how they go. And then Richard Morgan, the California or the West Conference director, going to be the team manager for the California Slingers. Love it. Next up, Carolina Coasters. So this is one that I think has a lot of potential. Carolina, you have Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, 2 top 10 players. Again, Trevor Brooks a little farther in the rankings, but I think he's trending upward, which makes it a tough team.
Oh my gosh.
So the Carolina Coasters, the wave logo there, the traditional North Carolina colors between UNC, the Hornets, a lot of these different teams from and the Carolina Panthers, all with that signature blue. Jamie Graham going to be the captain. Like I said, Dusty Thompson going to be the team manager. Next one gets a little bit interesting. The Colorado Timber. This is one of those where you don't have a ton of Colorado players, but we did have one in the top 100, and that was Yeti Irwan. So she automatically got a spot on that team, being from Colorado. Anthony, if he was a pro still, he might have ended up on this team. Who knows?
I wouldn't make it.
So then we kind of went back to the top 10, top 20, top 30 to try to find some teams that would even out the rankings, players that maybe didn't have a home. We definitely couldn't put Jamie Graham, Eric Davis, and Josh Holland all on the Carolina team. It would not have been fair. So, we end up with Josh Holland being the captain of the Timber alongside Adam Hissner and Yeti Irwan. This is Mountain South Conference Director Christopher Buchanan going to be the team manager here. Next up, another team that I think can be really, really tough, depending on how their third player turns out. The Chicagoland Spinners, headlined by Mark Richards. He's the captain, managed by conference director Miguel Villa. So they also have like a fourth pro that's got pro experience. Philip Lopez, another top 10 player, and then Nico Morales was just outside the top 100, which is crazy to think about, but he rounds out the team being from the region himself. This is going to be a tough team here out of Chicagoland.
Yeah, real tough.
We got the Florida Freeze. Alex Rawls, the number 1 player here on this team. He gets Cheyenne Renner and Cody Johnson. Cody Johnson, another one of those players where you look at where he finished up in the ranking, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But in the end, Cheyenne, Cody, and Alex going to be a tough team. Josh Alford, the new Florida Conference Director, I believe, is planning to be the captain there for the Freeze. Going a little bit quicker here. I don't want to waste too much more time, but Georgia Sliders. Noah Wooten, originally from Georgia. He's going to headline that team. Duncan Clemner spends plenty of time in Georgia, kind of bounces back between South Carolina and Georgia. And then, of course, Hunter Yacklin. These 3 headlined by Conference Director Jeff Richburg. Going to be a tough team here. This is another one of those where you didn't have a top 10 player, but you mix in a top 20, a top 30, and then a top 50, and you look at yourself, you kind of more of a rounded team than all these others. So going to be interesting to see how they play. The Kentucky Colonels. This was a fun one to look at. Damon Dennis was excited. Matt Guy going to be the captain here alongside Damon Dennis and Jim Glasscock. Josh Lunsford, another former pro, being a conference director and now a manager. So this is going to be a fun one to watch. Again, Damon Dennis, Matt Guy, 2 top 20 players. So grab someone a little bit further in the rankings from the state of Kentucky and Jim Glasscock to round out the Kentucky Colonels. Las Vegas High Rollers, like this one as well. This is another one of the ones we didn't have any representation from Vegas, but Vegas was an important market to be involved with. So we grabbed some players that kind of didn't have a fit. There were also top-level players. Tanner Halbert, Cody Henderson, and Hunter Thorne going to round out this team for the Las Vegas High Rollers. They'll be managed by a dual effort by Michael Gonzalez and Travis Fulmer. So be on the lookout for the Las Vegas High Rollers. The Michigan Marauders, going to be captained by Joe Niestedt, Jordan Power, and Trevor Kufis, all also on the team. This was interesting because I think Jordan Power's ranking was deceptively high, but maybe Kufis's was deceptively low, so it kind of evened itself out. Regardless, Tyler Earls going to be helping out managing the Michigan Marauders here, and it's going to be a fun team to watch. The Missouri Mays, Ryan Windsor, Isidro Herrera, and John Fuentes. So Windsor and Herrera, they just split up. Well, now they're back together. Now they're back together on the Missouri Mays. Chad Smith, conference director out of the Midwest, going to be leading up this team. The Pennsylvania Ringers, led by Devin Harbaugh, also going to feature Matthew Creek-Killer and Connie Altice. Creek-Killer kind of the odd man out there, but didn't have another Pennsylvania player near the top of the rankings. So Creek-Killer going to be out there with the Pennsylvania Ringers, and that'll be managed by conference director Joe Harsh. Last graphic that I have, I got some others in the works, but Storm Hogue and Jimmy Humans will be paired up with Captain Jacob Trzynski for the New England Woodchucks. Jacob Trzynski didn't even know what a woodchuck was, so that was the funny part. So, do you know woodchucks are only found in New England? That's why they had to be the New England Woodchucks. So really? They'll be managed by Sean Haley. Now we're missing 2 others from this graphic. We're missing the Pennsylvania Cutters. So the Pennsylvania Cutters will be managed or captained by James Washington. And you'll also have Leston Allen and Justin Stranger on the team. And then the only other one we're missing, who else was missing?
Hey, really quick on that, you said Pennsylvania Cutters. Didn't we have a Pennsylvania Ringer?
Virginia Cutters. Virginia Cutters. Good catch. And then the final one is the Ohio Aviators. The Ohio Aviators will be led by Noah Almanza, with Trey Birchfield and Matt Abernathy rounding out the team there. Cleveland Cornhole will be the team manager of that team. So those are all the teams. Excited. I don't
Arizona.
know.
I think we missed Arizona.
Did we miss Arizona? I got Arizona in here, I thought.
What did you? Doug, Ty, Bill?
I don't think we did see Arizona.
Oh, whoops. Let me doing this on the fly here. I got them right here. Yeah. Arizona, as it loads. Here we go. Arizona burn.
Burn. Okay.
The Arizona burn. So we'll have Doug Zaft, Ty Lopez, and Bill Hadley, with Athena Delgado being the team manager there for this one. So this is a fun one. So yeah, guys, I don't know. That's the teams. Any other thoughts? I mean, anybody that stands out that's like awesome, excited?
Dang, Carolina's going to be tough. The Mark Richards one's going to be tough. I mean, not just because it's Mark Richards and Philip Lopez, but because they're pro partners. So the chemistry is undeniable. So, I mean, there's just a huge advantage there.
Yeah, you just got a few players that are trending up. A Nico, you know, his ranking didn't really reflect how good he is. He's definitely going to be helping that team. A Hunter Thorne, his ranking I don't think is going to reflect how good he's going to be. He's going to help the Las Vegas High Rollers. So that kind of theme going down, you got a lot of trending up players. So I think there's going to be some strong ones.
The last thing I'll add is that what we did was we took those 3 players and we added their pro singles ranking together, okay, and then reversed that order. That will be the order of the first round of the draft.
Yeah, that's going to be key.
Yeah.
So
do you know who's going to be first off the top of your head or no?
Yep, I'll read you the order. So first overall pick will go to the New England Woodchucks. The Ohio Aviators will go second. Virginia Cutters, Michigan Marauders, Georgia Sliders at 5, Arizona Burn, Kentucky Colonels, Florida Freeze, California Slingers, Colorado Timber at 10, Las Vegas High Rollers, Texas Bullybaggers, Pennsylvania Ringers, Chicagoland Spinners, Missouri Mays at 15, and the final pick, the Carolina Coasters at 16. So, as you can see, your 2 comments were the Chicagoland and the Carolina Coasters. That's why they end up at the end of the first round there. It kind of evens itself out. So, great stuff.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I mean, people are like, oh, you know, we had this 1 month break between seasons. And like, not for me. Like, for me, I feel like the season hasn't really started. Like, I'm excited. So looking forward to it. All right. You ready for some news around the league?
Let's do it.
All right. So we did have the West Conference. I was able to kind of catch a little bit of that here and there. That was exciting to watch. Our singles winner was Hunter Thorne, and our doubles winners were the Zazweta boys. So congrats to them. Our Mountain South Conference was Paul Alexander for singles, and then Jim Bean and Paul Alexander for doubles. And then we also had the Battle of the Queens going on. Sam Finley took first in that, and Rosie Streaker took second. And our doubles winner was Yeti Irwan and Jenna D. Second was Kelly Jenkins and Kimberly Jenkins. And to round it all off, Marty Smith hits the Guinness Book of World Records cornhole shot at 75 feet live on SEC Network. I shouldn't have downplayed the weekend when I introed this. I just feel like now it sounds like a lot happened, but I don't know. I didn't catch a lot of it, I guess. But exciting weekend. Any thoughts on any of that, Trey?
How about Marty Smith? The guy just continues to love cornhole, right?
He's a cornhole ambassador.
I don't know. Did you guys watch it at all? I don't know if you saw that. I mean, it was he went bananas. The best part was, my favorite part about the whole thing is that Chris Seaton and Eric Ryder were there as ACL pros, but Chris Seaton had been coaching Marty Smith. He's like flipping it vertical. He's like, no, here, turn your wrist like this, do this. 10 minutes later, Marty Smith hits it. And he comes up to him and he's like, hey, what's the deal? Like, or they come up after it gets done. They ask Marty Smith, how'd you do it? He's like, it's all about my coach. They go over to Chris Seaton. They're like, so what'd you tell Marty Smith to get it done? He goes, I just told him the truth. That was all he said, and everybody went crazy. So Chris Seaton, rookie ACL pro, immediately getting thrown in the mix. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, Mish, anytime you see a name in both singles and doubles in a conference, I think it's worth talking about that player. Paul Alexander, I've been watching this guy's game evolve for years, probably 3 years now. My dog, a batter out of Colorado, absolute beast. I mean, he's literally Damon Dennis, minus 20 years. So he's this younger version of Damon Dennis. Slick side game changer. He'll run bags for days. He pushes through deep blocks to keep the board clean. Strong airmail, high PPR guy. Absolutely annoying to play. It drives me freaking crazy. His get-arounds around, he's got the meltiest set of game changers in the world. It is absolutely nuts to play this guy, but I haven't beat him probably 4 or 5 attempts. We actually played last week. 20-20 is as close as I've been in a while. He gets the win. I'd have to go all the way back to April to remember the last time I beat this guy. Had to throw one of my best games ever, an 11-0-4 over 17 rounds. That's what it takes to beat a Paul Alexander. Super proud of this guy. A top 50. If he dropped into the pro league right now, I think he'd be a top 50 guy. And his partner, Jim Beam, also a top 5 player out of Colorado. Gym teacher, genuine, super nice guy. Probably the best airmail in the state. So congrats to those guys. And Paul Alexander's showing up in singles and doubles for that conference.
And shout out to Anthony Ione for the 7th PPR in the bracket.
And took 33rd. Let's go.
We must have got. All right, let's go ahead and move into buy or sell. I'm going to read some lines, and then you guys let me know if you would buy or sell. The first one being the Carolina Coasters have the best starting pieces for their team. Buy or sell?
I'm gonna sell because I think I like the Chicagoland Spinners just a hair more. When you combine all the different pieces, Nico is trending upward. I know Brooks is trending upward as well. Sometimes you get some volatility with Eric Davis. Sometimes he's just okay. Philip Lopez and Mark Richards are never okay. They're always great or really, really good, right? I mean, that's the difference. So a little bit more stability there. I like Miguel Villa getting in there as a captain, and they have a better first-round pick. I'll go Spinners, so I'll sell it.
All right. Anthony?
Yeah, I'm looking at that list too. I was taking some notes as you were going along there. You already mentioned the Spinners. I agree with that, and the key to that is going to be Nico Morales and how he's trending up. I do like seeing Harbaugh, Creek Killer, and an Altice together. They look really solid. All of those players, I think, trending up as well. Man, that's tough. I think Brooks is going to come out and have an awesome season for the Carolina Coasters. So I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it.
I like
All
it.
right. I like it.
All right, second one. There will be a significant trade in teams this season that decides a championship. That's quite. Hey, if you say buy and that happens, that's quite the prediction.
I am going to buy. Right.
Okay.
And part of the reason is how many times did we say this past season that the draft and the championship wasn't decided by the first 3 rounds. It was decided by rounds 7 through 9. Right. It was somewhere in the middle. Someone's going to make a value pick early in the season for someone that they don't think that they think is really good and they can get them for cheaper. And maybe it's a 2-for-1 or something. But in the end, I really think it's going to come down to someone making a pick that brings a rookie in or brings a breakout player in that really plays well. And, I'll buy it.
Anthony?
Man, this one's tough because, I mean, what decided the championship last time? A Selmayr, a guy you wasn't even on radar. Yeah. He wouldn't have been a part of a significant trade. And then he hits the shot of the year to win the championship. But this is unique. Man, I think I'm going to have to buy that as well. I think you're right, Trey. I mean, you've got not only trending up players, but a lot of rookies coming in. I think these captains are going to need to do their homework and really know what the pool of players are that they're dealing with. And if not, there's going to be some trading going on as the season goes on. So I'll buy that one as well.
Okay. Yeti Irwan will repeat her 2022 performance in 2023.
Yeah, I saw what she did at the Battle of the Queens. I mean, yes, she won doubles, but she also came in 3rd in singles, losing to just Rosie and Sam. I mean, I'm going to buy it. I think she's a player. I mean, even look what she did at the World Championship. She scored most points on anybody on Mark Richards all day long. I mean, I really think Yeti is set up to be another top 3 female, top 5 at worst. I'll buy it.
Anthony?
Yeah, she's showing signs of improvement. She's consistently in the podium mix. I think she's raising her floor. That is the difference with Yeti. You're not going to get really low performances and get those losses. But on her heels, Samantha Finley, 16th last year. Top 3 promise. Cameron Belbin finished 6th. I think she's going to fight her for that top 3 spot. Connie Altice, maybe an Emily Downer coming in as a rookie that no one's even seeing coming, mixing it up with that new style game. I'm going to buy it, though. You can't deny Yeti's performances right now trending up. I'm going to give her that one. Buy it.
Okay. A rookie will be the first overall pick in the team's draft. Ooh.
Yeah, so I think it favors someone saying yes, just because, right? If you pick any rookie that you think is going to finish in the top 10, do they finish against anybody that didn't finish in the top 15, top 20 this past season, right? My gut says yes, but I think you have to look at the player that is available. I'm going to sell it simply because I think Jay Rubin goes first overall. A doubles world champion would be my first overall pick. Maybe Wiedenfeld or Fisher Hamilton goes 2, but I'll sell it just banking on Rubin.
Okay. Anthony?
Yeah, Trey let it earlier. He said top 24. So if you go 25, Jay Rubin, then you got Batson, Humans, Trzynski, you got Neistat in there. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Ryan Smith down there on the list. The question is Wiedenfeld or Hamilton going to get drafted before a Rubin? Oh,
yeah,
that's tough, man. I'm going to say, and it's going to depend on the captain, right?
Yep.
Who gets that pick? Do we know that already?
The New England Woodchucks. So that's Jimmy Humans, Jacob Trzynski, and Storm Hogue.
Oh, that's significant. I'm going to go with the rookie. They're going to pull another carpetbagger to join that team. I'm going to say, I'm going to, how did it go? Buy it.
A rookie will be the first overall pick.
Buying it.
He's buying it. I like it.
All right. Last one. Cheyenne Bubenheim will be better than Cheyenne Renner.
I don't see there's a way that she can be. Cheyenne Renner was so good. Now Cheyenne Bubenheim, first of all, it's weird. It's weird to say out loud. She just got married. So
yeah, let's add some backstory here.
I'm going to sell it just because Cheyenne Renner literally won everything. I don't think she can continue to win everything as women continue to get better and better in the sport. I don't know.
Anthony?
Yeah, so a little backstory. Same person, now married with a new last name. Yeah, I'm agreeing. The female division is showing so much strength right now, as well as all these trending up players. I'm going to sell.
Okay. Well, then show them Cheyenne Bubenheim. All right, let's go ahead and bring our guest on. We got the one and only Bernie Nabors here with us today. And what's up? Burn.
Already got the colors for the Carolina Coasters, baby. Already set in new pair of shorts.
That's not red.
Are the red shorts gone? I brought in a new color for next summer.
Bernie, you don't even know who your team is yet, man.
Dude, it's Carolina.
You only got 3 players.
I got 3 Carolina kids. I'm
okay
with that.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
funny.
And by the way, are we not overreacting a little to the fact there's only 3 players per team? We got a long way to go. I mean, and like you said before, you've got those middle round drafts. You already broke through with my word value. I mean, when this draft comes out,
that's banned.
I'm really looking.
Banned.
All right, let me get 2 things out of the way first. Carolina Coasters, I'm all in, right? Okay. All in on the logo, all in on the color scheme. Not sure who finally convinced Stacy to make Carolina blue like it should be. His NC Stateness was just getting in the way. And secondly, how great is the logo for California?
I know the bear throwing the bag.
Little bear throwing the bag. Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's Chargers colors, blue and yellow. I'm all in. I'm all in on California.
Chargers colors, Rams colors. They tried to design it so that if a city had colors, right? Not all cities have colors, but if a city had colors, wear those colors, right? Carolina is all blue. Georgia, Atlanta is all red and black. Look, every team from Atlanta is red and black. California, you have a bunch of different teams with that yellow and blue pattern. So they went with the yellow and blue pattern.
So the Kentucky people are going to be mad, though. You took Big Blue and made them green. They're gonna be a little rough about that one.
Well, that was also because you have Kentucky and Louisville, and you didn't want to kind of pick one, so they kind of pick something different with the green.
Yeah,
so,
no, I love some of those logos. By the way,
yeah.
I was watching as y'all were going through them.
it's great because within the office, Bernie and Stacy got their Carolina, and then I've already said I'm getting a New England Woodchucks hat because I'm a New England sports fan. You got Todd getting his Burn. You got Dave Weiser getting his Ohio Aviators stuff. You got Fred is going to be a Cali guy because he's from California. California Slingers.
Hey, I'm probably buying that California thing for the logo. That logo is awesome.
Yeah, so like it's cool because we're gonna have some inter office rivalries and stuff like that. It'll be really cool. I just love the team concept, Bernie.
I love it. I love some of the changes. I love the fact that there's going to be trades this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think it's actually going to come down to, you kind of brushed it over a little bit, a Miguel Villa, someone that's that entrenched in the game, being able to help the captains make things happen. I think that's going to be very, very important when it comes to trades and seeing who's out there, and maybe an ability to kind of know more behind the scenes than the players, because the players are going to be completely doing their own thing. They're going to be playing, right? And not all the players. Josh Holland, for example, isn't going to be the most involved in some of these decisions, I wouldn't think, right? Compared to some of the other guys, because he's just not as gregarious a person as some of the other folks. He's not going to be as involved talking to people. So to have that help from a director that can kind of behind the scenes kind of wrangle things for some of these players, it's gonna be a lot of fun to see how that happens and see how do we have our first fist fight ever in ACL history because someone gets traded and then it comes down to a match and the guy or girl that gets traded is sitting there playing against their old team? Does that happen? Does that happen? Buy or sell? Buy or sell that bad feelings are going to happen because of a trade.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I don't know if I'll sell on the throw on the hands, but
probably not going to have the hands.
I'll buy on that. There's going to be some people that get dropped that don't want to get dropped, right? I mean,
I was going to say, how about this for a buy or sell? Because I would describe cornhole right now as like a gentleman's game, like more towards golf. Everyone's kind of cordial with each other for the most part, besides like a Jordan Powers. A little like, do we get away from the like gentleman's game and actually become more like football, like these louder sports where there is more talk?
I'm buying on that. I think as the players get younger and the money gets higher, I think you're going to trend towards that a little bit more.
Hey, not to change the subject, but I'm going to put Trey on the spot a little bit here. So a lot of our viewers might not know Bernie, but he is a star on the show, right? Borderline with Jeff McGarriger. And now when Jeff has a guest, he gives them the most amazing entry.
He does.
He tells all the viewers about who this person is going to be. Trey, we need a Jeff McGarriger style entry for Bernie Nabors.
Jeff loves backstory.
He does. Okay, so backstory on Bernie Nabors. Oh, this would be good. I could bring out some inside tailgating videos that everybody would love. I could.
Got it. You have to bring out when we did when we went up and played, and what was that? With the two golf balls on a string. I can't remember the name. Ladder golf. We played these world champions. If you can find that video and give it to people, they will love it. That is hysterical.
Bernie is an OG. He's been there forever. Been friends with Stacy since, I don't know, they were playing basketball when
13.
Bernie said he was dunking all over Stacy, and Stacy denies it. And
Stacy rode the bench. He was really good at giving me towels when I came to the sideline.
Oh, Bernie's not even here to defend himself.
Because he knows it's true. It's okay.
Yeah. And now he beats Stacy in Golden Tee too. So Stacy doesn't have like anything bragging rights all over.
Stacy's wallet crushes mine, however.
That's except for owning the ACL. That's kind of
he gets to step on me routinely.
Yeah, and then Bernie. Well, of course, his most the thing that Bernie is the most famous thing in the world for is he's these bags are alive.
These bags are alive. There he is, right there.
Yeah, that's right here. This guy,
Bernie. That's what you are known for. That is your thing.
As a 15, 16-year-old, and you think off into the future, like what is going to be my legacy in life? I'm really not sure that would have come to me.
No, what do you mean? You didn't see that on your vision board?
I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't there. But no, it's fun. I mean, there's worse things to be known for, right? I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could be Jeffrey Dahmer, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. That is
worse. It's a little worse.
one extreme to go on the other end. Yes, 100%. That could be the opposite way.
Yeah, there's not much of a bio for me. Like, Jeff's so good at it. Jeff would have to look me up and see that. Yeah, well, there's really not much for this guy, but he seems kind of funny and he's bald. Next guest.
He's an awesome MC. And Bernie, I don't know if you knew you were good at MCing before or but I'm curious, as you've come in to see other people do it, certain celebrities that had to come in and do it with you, did you realize wow, I kind of have a knack for this maybe?
Yeah,
it's be my thing.
For me, it's pretty simple. Apparently for other people, it's not. I mean, you kind of say things on time, Yeah. But no, it's fun. That part of the business is super fun. Right. I mean, I think our big nationals and the broadcast, Trey is obviously really busy, but even I think Trey would admit now he's done it so many times. It's not the nerve-wracking piece that it probably once was as far as getting out, doing the open in front of everybody, going through that whole process. The nationals for me, I mean, that's fun. That's fun time. So I don't know. I love where the sport's gotten to. I love this whole team thing. I mean, especially now that we've changed it. I mean, think about it. Philadelphia Eagles, how many players on that team are from that region?
Yeah.
Are there any? Are there any?
Right.
So, but people dive in and they love the fact that they can kind of pull for their region. I think it's going to do a lot for the teams going forward in our sport.
Yeah, because I think that's why we created it, right? Because if you turn on, Bernie and I talk college football all the time on ACL Live, right? And we're not talking college football this time because I'm depressed. But if you turn on, if you turn on the TV, and I'm a Clemson guy, Bernie's North Carolina guy. If Clemson and North Carolina are playing water polo, I'm texting Bernie saying, "You suck at water polo." I'm just it's automatic.
Again?
I'm automatically invested in that, right? Automatically having no affiliation, right? Same thing with these regional affiliations. That's I think what makes it kind of special is because in a way you don't get to pick who your teams are, right? I mean, I guess you can. You could just sit there and pick whoever you wanted to. It's a brand new thing, but for the most part, you're kind of invested with where your feet are.
Some people pick players. Some people pick players, not teams. Even other sports. I like this player, so I'm following them on whatever team.
Absolutely. All right. So, I heard the buy and sell. I mean, it's got to be Jay Rubin. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I think from what we saw last season, I think sometimes people we saw some teams try to do this and put together, partnerships that were already there. I don't think that worked. At least last season, that thought process did not work. Going through and picking partners as they went through in rounds during the draft. I don't think that worked. I think you take best player available and you find a partner for them down the road. I know that you guys believe that there has to be bad chemistry, which there does to a degree, but I think you have to take best player available now with our drafts. Because I think the best player can just turn a bag over one way or the other and find their game, right? Yeah. Am I wrong in thinking that? Or do you?
Well, we're 10 round limited, something to think of too.
I mean, do you guys think that it's really that you take a shot and all right, I draft this player with our first pick. Now I've got to find a partner for him. Or do you just say, give me the best pros available. These are professionals. They can adjust and I can kind of put teams together where I know. I mean, all right. So for example, the Vegas team, how many players does Tanner have on that team that are going to go just run slicky side and just do bags run bags all game? Does he need to find a partner for himself? Or does he just say, I'm Tanner Halbert, I'm good enough, just let me get the best player available and we'll win games? I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. Huh?
For future discussion. Misha's going to tell us we have 10 seconds.
I just said I agree. We'll have to find out.
Best player available. Best player available.
Hold that thought. Good tease, Bernie. Do you want to do a hot take with us, Bernie?
Give Bernie's hot take. Bernie, give your hot take. Give us a hot take right now on the spot.
A hot take on teams or just a hot take in general?
Anything.
I whipped Trey's ass this weekend in fantasy football.
That already happened.
It's not over yet. I think a player drafted lower than the 4th round will make the most difference in teams competition.
Okay.
My bold prediction is my hometown New England Woodchucks go back-to-back. They win a second team's world championship. I haven't even seen the draft board yet. Just literally as hot as it gets.
That's an interesting one.
All right, I'm going off Battle of the Queens. I have to stick with Samantha Finley. She just stays so strong. The next Open that Finley and Renner are in together, that will be your finals, and Samantha Finley is going to win it.
Ooh, I like
that. That's a hot take.
There you go. We're gonna have to get used to that one.
That is tough.
and mine is similar to Anthony. I think Sam and Rosie are going to go pretty far. I mean, they're both playing amazingly well. I think they got the right bags in their hands. So I'm picking them to win another whatever their next event is. So okay. I think they can do it. All right, that we are over time and it's Bernie's fault. So
my bad.
Just blame him and we'll see you guys next time.